Daniel said, I find my coaching philosophy is more around some of those soft things mentioned versus just the data. Let's open that up. Because I'm a huge fan of this. I'm a huge fan of these like soft skills. And sometimes I even preface a podcast like, okay, if you're here for watts, this one is probably not for you. You might want to skip it. You know, there's just so much to bike racing besides watts. And I don't want to knock things like Zwift or indoor training, but I know that is like the focus. And there's strategy and there's different things. But it's different than when you go and apply it and you're in a race and you're, especially for things like mountain biking. And I get a little taste of that with gravel, but like there's a whole other world of finding the fastest line and, you know, so soft skills, let's just open that up. What kind of, when you read through those, what were you thinking when you wrote that back to me?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think obviously we have to we don't have to have the data as a coach because there's so many of those other things, but it's helpful. But I find that there's so many people that are like, you know, wearing their FTP or their VO2 max on their sleeve and they're just like proud of this, but it's like, it goes deeper. Besides that, it's like, you know, there's repeatability, there's mindset. Like you said, you're, you know, a psych major. Like I find that, you know, there's more importance in kind of like where that mind piece is, that mindset. It's like, even like the national championship example, I wrote like a little article series on my blog and people still refer back to that being like, that mindset piece lured me in and captured me, like because of like that piece of it, instead of it being like all about the watts. And of course, like, you know, looking at it from a standpoint of like, you know, I've written some stuff for Training Peaks of, you know, my office here is shared with SRM power meters where they produce them. And it's like, you know, I did some early testing in like 2009 with mountain bike power meters at Leadville and stuff like that. So you kind of have that stuff, but it's also like turning away from it of, you know, what are the sensations, what are the feelings, what are the skills? Because like being a mountain biker, and even like I still try to like walk the walk and talk the talk. There's been events I've went to with other pros that I've coached and other, you know, high level athletes, and I can see their numbers. I'm looking at them in WKO and I'm like, oh man, I've prepped them well. They're going to smash my face in. And it's like, I end up coming out better on the other side than they do. And they're like, how did you do that? And I'm like, there's a little bit of the race background that is more than just the numbers. It's, you know, efficiency. It's, you know, like say going down and doing like Austin Rattler. I did it with 3 other clients and showed up and just wore baggy shorts and literally made the lead group of like 4 or 5 guys. And like, they were like, how did you do that? All the guys are up there like in, you know, skin suits in this race and like hammering. And I was like, well, I hung on for dear life in the road sections and then rode away from them in the single track and let my heart rate drop. And they were like, that was so challenging. So it's all about like stringing that stuff together and also having the mindset piece to say like, you know, I've done the work, the hay's in the barn. Now it's time to just open it up and let it go. Because that's one thing that so many people get tied up in is like, you know, they want to cram for the test or cram for the event versus like talking them through talking them off the edge of like, you don't need to do more, or when you're winning the races is in the off season, not right now. It's like, you know, basically like you can't do anything else. So it's a lot of these extra little pieces, because even like all the scare of say like AI and, you know, that kind of stuff, some coaches feel threatened. And I'm like, great, if somebody AI could build my training and I could just do the coaching piece,
dude,
I'm great. So
yes.
But not to say I don't like manipulating the training, but it's like it's a piece of a necessary puzzle. But it's like, I think the coaching aspect is like the relationships and all that other stuff to get people's minds right.